people. Good afternoon, everyone. Sanford Tweedie, for those of you who don't know me, Dean of the Rick Edelman College of Communication and Creative Arts. I wanted to give a little history because of my own, actually. I'm in my 28th year here at Rowan. When I arrived in 1994, we had recently changed our name from Glassboro State College, which is what it was when Lillian was here, to Rowan College of New Jersey, an intermediary name before we became Rowan University. I joined a Department of Communications, and yes, with an S at that point. It got lost along the way. Soon we became a School of Communication, and then a College of Communication, and in 2012, we were joined by the Art Department and became the College of Communication and Creative Arts. 2019, thanks to the generosity of Rick and Jean Edelman, we became the Rick Edelman College of Communication and Creative Arts. Then the pandemic hit, and we went into what now feels like a hibernation. But now we are awakening, rising up, embracing a new day filled with hope, possibility, and realities. So in other words, I've been here long enough to see the transformation of Rowan, which has reached epic proportions under our current president, a man who has served as a difference maker, a change agent, a catalyst, a visionary of what Rowan can be and is becoming. So it's my great pleasure to introduce the president of Rowan University and fellow Michigan alumnus, Dr. Ali Houshmand.
Thank you, Sandy. The last sentence was the best part of your speech. You know how passionate I am when it comes to Michigan. Anyways, good afternoon, everybody. And thank you for tuning in today for this exciting announcement. Thank you to Dean Tweedie, to Dr. Julie Haynes, Dr. Rui Shi, and Jessica Newell of the class of 2022 for speaking today. And most importantly, thank you to Dr. Lillian Lodge Koperhaver for being the reason we have great news to celebrate with you today. In 1962, Glassboro State College alumni, Dr. Kopenhaver, has left a remarkable legacy here at Rowan. And she generously continues to enrich that legacy in support of our students, alumni, and Rowan community. This isn't the first or the second extraordinary gift from Dr. Kopenhaver, but the third. And we are very excited for the future of this initiative within the Rick Edelman College of Communication and Creative Arts. Our 2021 Lifelong or Lifetime Service Award recipient, Dr. Kopenhaver, is a true example of what it means to give back to her community. We're forever grateful that her time at Glassboro State College meant so much and has inspired a legacy of support for our leaders of tomorrow. I will not keep you waiting any longer. I'm happy to welcome back Dean of Rick Edelman College of Communication and Creative Art, my dear friend, Dr. Sandy Tweedie.
Thank you, President Houshmand. Over the last decade, Dr. Lillian Lodge Koperhaver's generosity has greatly enhanced opportunities for Rowan University students and alumni. Today, we get to celebrate another such commitment to creating such possibilities. Now, a little bit more background. I'm aware that I come from a position of privilege in our society, but I've seen what it means to be a gender other than my own in this society. My own background, my grandmother on my mother's side was one of 4 sisters. She had 3 daughters, one of whom was my mother. Those 3 daughters all had girls, 8 girls and me. I have and my sisters also have girls. So I have 2 sisters, right? No brothers, also girls. And I have the lovely, the wonderful wife, lovely person, someone I respect higher than anyone in the world. And I also have 2 daughters, no son. So my background, everyone who was male, other than me, had to marry into the family. So I have constantly seen the challenges women face, and I've always supported opportunities for women to advance. Thus, It was more than fortuitous on that day of what President Houshmand talked about, that second gift to the university that Dr. Kopenhaver provided, that she approached me that day with an idea. And the outcome is what we're celebrating today. So I'm thrilled to announce that Dr. Kopenhaver's third significant gift to the university establishes this Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication at Rowan University. Housed in the Rick Edelman College of Communication and Creative Arts. Yeah, applause, yay. The center is an affiliate of the Lillian Lodge Koperhaver Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication at Florida International University. The center creates a space for dialogue about the role of women in communication, furthering the college's efforts to support students, provide opportunities, and promote understanding of gender equity. And it stands at the confluence of two of Dr. Kopenhaver's passions, advancing the role of women in communication and her alma mater. And so allow me to introduce her and give her a chance to speak to this. But first, some background. Dr. Kopenhaver is Executive Director of the Lillian Lodge Koperhaver Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication at Florida International University, where she is also Dean Emeritus and Professor. Lillian joined FIU in 1973 and rose through the ranks to become Dean of the School of Journalism and Mass Communication in 2003, a post she held for nearly 9 years. Over the course of her tenure, Kopenhaver was instrumental in creating programs and opportunities for students, particularly women. In what has historically been an industry largely dominated by men, Kopenhaver was frequently one of the few women to hold leadership positions and be part of the decision-making process within the communications field. A nationally known expert and researcher on the First Amendment, the scholastic and collegiate press, and the role and status of women in communication, she is the author of more than 115 scholarly articles, monographs, and books. Among her numerous awards, she holds the Wells Memorial Key from the Society of Professional Journalists, its highest honor, and only the second woman in the history of the organization to win the award at that time. She's been inducted into the National Hall of Fame for both College Media Advisors and the Community College Journalism Association. Dr. Kopenhaver was named the Outstanding Woman in Journalism and Mass Communication Education for 2009 by the Association for Education and Journalism and Mass Communication. The award recognizes women who has represented fellow women in the Academy through excellence and high standards in journalism education. She is also past president of 4 major journalism and media associations. Here at Rowan, she has received the Distinguished Alumnus Award, and as Dr. Houshmand said, the Lifetime Service Award. So thank you, Dr. Kopenhaver, for your commitment to your alma mater and the path you continue to forge for generations of students to come. And now, Dr. Lillian Lodge Koperhaver.
Would help if I unmuted myself. Thank you very much, President Houshmand, Dean Tweedie, and everyone else who has joined us here this afternoon. I am delighted to be able to be part of the establishment of the Lillian Lodge Kopenhaver Advancement of Women in Communication Suite here in the Rick Edelman College of Communication and Creative Arts at Rowan University. Just 1 year ago, we were so proud to be able to launch the Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication, a satellite center, as Dean Tweedie has said, of the Kopenhaver Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication at Florida International University. It has been an energizing and tremendously rewarding year working with Julie Haynes, the director of Rowan Center. Through this center, we have been able to expand programming for young women in all the fields of communication to another university and to another group of students. We inaugurated the Kopenhaver Center at Florida International University in 2013 with the mission to empower the next generation of women leaders and visionaries in all the fields of communication in order to make a difference in their professions and their communities. In the past 8 years, we have offered a webinar series, national conferences, online teaching modules, a virtual workshop series, mentoring programs, workshops for young women academics across the country, a leadership training institute, a boot camp for seniors, several research projects, and other series such as Big Ideas from Exceptional Women and Kopenhaver Center Conversations. The Kopenhaver Advancement of Women in Communication Suite here at Rowan will make it possible for young women to take part in all the myriad activities of the center, to encourage them to fulfill their dreams for careers in the communication fields. Having a tangible location for the center's activities and presence is important. It validates the commitment of the university and the college to the mission of the center in encouraging and empowering young women to succeed and to achieve their goals. It is increasingly important that communications in this country represent our population equitably, both in the information that is delivered and in those who deliver that information. Since women make up more than half the population of the United States, the center serves as a tangible reminder to young women that there is no glass ceiling to inhibit them from moving ahead and becoming the leaders of the communications professions of tomorrow. I am proud to be able to work with Dean Tweedie and Dr. Haynes in moving the center forward and to help make it possible for Rowan and Florida International University to provide an expanded scope of programming and support for young women. The aim is to assist these young women embarking on careers in the fields of communication to become future leaders in a field in which women have not yet achieved equality. And it is important to note that all programs offered by the Kopenhaver Center at Florida International University are available to all Rowan students as well. It is my pleasure to be able to help establish this Kopenhaver Suite to provide additional visibility for the work being done by the center. With a home like this, the center can expand the opportunities for young women to learn from some awesome speakers and benefit from other activities throughout the year, which will augment their education. They will be able to explore new ideas, engage in professional development, experience networking, and hear from women with whom they would normally have limited opportunity to come into contact. This will also provide aspiring communicators with a place to gather, to exchange ideas, discuss assignments and issues, hear from others who can help them expand their horizons, and be a part of something they can make their own. I look forward to seeing Rowan alumni leading the communications professions of the future, because they had the opportunity to be part of the Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication and our greater network. So I am just delighted at the events this morning and this announcement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lillian.
And there you go.
We're all still learning this after 19 months, right? You would think Zoom would have figured out, like when you want to talk, then it just automatically comes on. Thank you, Lillian. That was wonderful. And we are most appreciative of your dedication to Rowan and to the center. We look forward to continued relationship with the center at Florida International University. So again, our deepest appreciation. I now have the pleasure of introducing to you Jessica Newell. Jessica is going to be a 2022 graduate in communication studies, and she's headed to graduate school, yet to be determined, although she was telling us prior to the start that it's either going to be on one coast or the other. Jessica has worked as an intern and student worker in the Dean's office for the past 2 years. And she assists in many of our communication efforts within the Dean's office, including she's pretty much taken over the handling of the Edelman's CCCA update, which many of you probably received today. Also, Jessica is a recipient of a New Jersey Women's and Gender Studies Consortium internship grant for the current work she's doing with the center. So Without further ado, Jessica Newell.
Thank you, Dean Tweedie, and thank you, Dr. Kopenhaver, for this generous gift to the center and for your dedication to the cause of advancing rising scholars and future industry leaders in the field of communication. I am honored to be the first student intern to help realize your vision here at Rowan University. When I think of all that the center has achieved in its first year and all that this team plans to achieve in the years to come, I view the ultimate product of our mission to be exposure. And I see this exposure as a two-sided phenomenon: the exposure of role models and career opportunities to students, and the exposure of students to the professional world waiting for them after graduation. This past year, our Rowan University Center, in partnership with the Center at Florida International University, hosted inspiring speakers from an array of career paths. One of the biggest challenges students face, especially in a field as broad as communication, is deciding which specialization to pursue. Hearing from leaders in sports communication, public relations, politics, and even communications divisions within the museum industry was illuminating and really helpful for this process of self-discovery. Learning how other women rose to positions of influence offers me an example to emulate and gives me the confidence that I will be able to walk through any door when I come to it, because another woman before me found the key. On the other side of the exposure, students studying communication for generations to come will be incredibly lucky to have this center as a resource for developing their professional presence. The workshops and guest speaker events provide a natural channel for students to network, which is crucial to their professional trajectory. And most near and dear to my heart is the center's goal of providing students a space to discover their own voices. Last May, when I presented my work at our inaugural spotlight on student scholarship, I was intimidated, but also so privileged to share my work in front of our Rowan community and some powerhouse female leaders in communication, including past guest speakers and notably the lovely Dr. Kopenhaver. So thank you again, Dr. Kopenhaver. On behalf of our center's team, we are grateful to know you and to have your support. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce a 2021-2022 Kopenhaver Fellow and Professor in Communication Studies at Rowan University, Dr. Rui Shi.
Hi, thank you, Jessica, and good afternoon. This is afternoon. This summer, I was honored to be named a 2021-22 Kopenhaver Fellow and participated in a workshop titled Women Faculty Moving Forward, Leading the Future of Academia. When the workshop was held, I was in China visiting my father. So let me tell you a little bit about my dad. Dad started his career as a journalist in China. He was quite successful, won lots of prizes, became an editor, and then eventually the editor-in-chief of a local newspaper. But his biggest regret in life was that he didn't have a son. Dad had high hopes for his imaginary son. He used to say to me, if you were a boy, I would expect you to win a Nobel Prize one day. So my first job after college was at a magazine based in Beijing. I was a journalist covering the science and technology beat. Dad questioned my choice of beat, of course. Science and tech isn't for young women. Most of my colleagues were men and all my editors were male. In a report released by Reuters Institute last year, across 10 countries they investigated, including the US, UK, South Africa, and Japan, about 40% of the journalists were women, but only 23% of the top editors were women. So thinking back, I know that if my dad had been my chief editor, I probably would never have been offered the job. I left China for grad school in the US and started to establish my own career as an academic. I am a social scientist and my research specialty is health communication, designing messages for anti-tobacco campaigns. I visited my father this summer because he was diagnosed with stage 3 lung cancer. I've been doing research in tobacco control long enough to understand the disease, and I teach health communication every year, so I know how to talk with doctors. I ended up sending recent articles from JAMA to dad's doctors and debated with them the choice of moderating variables in randomized control trials. The doctors were overwhelmed by my involvement, and one day, one doctor asked Dad what I did for a living. Dad acted cool, and with a proud smirk, he said, "Oh, just a college professor. She has a PhD, knows statistics, speaks perfect English, and reads JAMA for fun." My father's shift in attitude reflects many of those who may not at first see women as independent thinkers suitable for leading roles in academia and industry. Gender inequality harms everyone at home and in the workplace, and it took efforts from all genders to remove those biases. That is why the Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication is so important. It pools resources and creates opportunities for female academics to excel in teaching, research, and leadership. By hosting seminars, webinars, and social events featuring exceptional women in the communication field, the center not only helps set role models for young female faculty, but also improves the visibility of female achievements for all genders to recognize. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Kopenhaver for her generosity and for her vision and drive to help the new generation of academics and professionals to close the gender gap in communication. So next, I would like to introduce you to Julie Haynes. Dr. Haynes is the Professor of Communication Studies and the Director of the Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication at Rowan University.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shi, and congratulations again on being named a 2021 Kopenhaver Fellow, and truly appreciate your words today. As Director of the Center for the Advancement of Women in Communication at Rowan, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Dr. Houshmand today for his remarks and his support of this center's initiatives. Under his leadership, Rowan University is truly becoming a leader among academic institutions in fully embracing diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in all areas of collegiate life. The center is proud to be at the forefront of these commitments on campus. I would also like to thank Dean Tweedie for his continued support of the center, both for his faith in me and asking me to direct it, and for his presence at all of our events. He has clearly shown through his interest, his encouragement, and his time that gender equity in communication matters. In addition to the administration support, our work would not be possible without the commitment of others, including our faculty and staff advisory board, which Dr. Shi is a part of, Jessica Newell, our intern, who spoke so eloquently about how the center will benefit students. You can see from her remarks why she also won the New Jersey Women in Consortiums, Gender and Consortiums grant as well. She's quite impressive. Lillian Abreu at the Kopenhaver Center's research office, she's the research officer, has been extraordinarily generous with her time and expertise. And I thank her and Carla Zinsen for their guidance as we have launched the center at Rowan. And I especially want to thank my colleague Karen Brager for agreeing to serve as program assistant of the center. Her help has been immeasurable. And of course, our most sincere and heartfelt thanks to Dr. Kopenhaver. As a teacher and scholar of gender and communication for over 2 decades, I feel honored to contribute to Dr. Kopenhaver's vision and mission of fostering gender equity in the field. Not only is she once again supporting Rowan University with this generous gift, but she continues to give of her time and her expertise. And I have been so fortunate to get to know her this past year. She has always been encouraging, enthusiastic, and dedicated to all of our success. These are qualities of a true role model, and a compassionate and visionary leader. We look forward to our many future collaborations together and the 2021-2022 year has already seen some exciting programming, including an excellent virtual workshop with Rowan alumna and Hollywood producer Sue Kroll that we had in September. And the Kopenhaver Center at FIU just held its 5th annual national conference last Thursday, where Rowan students attended both virtually and at a watch party, listening to those at the Washington Post, CNN, and Major League Soccer. And everyone is invited to virtual workshop in November that FIU will be sponsoring on the changing face of news. The Center at Rowan will be sponsoring field trips, seminars, and a new student organization in the coming months. We are especially grateful to Dr. Kopenhaver for dedicating a physical space exclusively for the Center of Advancement of Women in Communication at Rowan, the Lillian Lodge Koperhaver Advancement of Women in Communication Suite. This space will give students a place to gather for organizational meetings, house materials related to gender and communication, and provide a space for viewing virtual workshops across campuses. The Lillian Lodge Koperhaver Advancement of Women in Communication Suite will be dedicated in late spring or early summer, and we hope to welcome you in person to campus to celebrate with a ribbon cutting. Once again, thank you to Dr. Kopenhaver for your generosity and your commitment to such an important cause. We thank you, and we thank all of you for being with us today.
And I believe that concludes today's activities. Again, as Julie just said, thank you everyone for joining us. And our special thanks again to Lillian. We are most appreciative of all you have done for the university and now for the Rick Edelman College of Communication and Creative Arts. And we look forward to many years of a successful relationship and watching the growth of all of the centers that you're sponsoring coming to fruition and becoming incredible powerhouses in this area where we definitely have room to see growth and advancement. So thank you, Lillian, again from everyone on this call.
And thank you also from me on behalf of more than 25,000 Rowan community strong. What you have done is truly remarkable. It's badly needed, especially when you look at every college in this country, more than 55% of the students are female. And I think, quite honestly, I have four heroes in my life that are women. And I believe really if a woman are in charge, the world is better. And the people, the four, let me mention who they are. Golda Meir, Indira Gandhi, Margaret Thatcher, and my mother. And mother couldn't read or write, but she was as great as those people. They all faced massive, massive challenges in their lives, and they overcame. And they did that well. Think about Golda Meir more than 60 years ago, almost 70 years, yes. And those were the leaders in those years. And so I think this center really, hopefully we train those kind of leaders for the future because the world needs more of them.
All right, everyone, enjoy the weather out there while you can before the rain hits this weekend. So good to see everyone and hope to see you in the spring, as Julie mentioned, at a ribbon cutting for the actual space. So take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you in the spring. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.